Hello and welcome to an OpenLM reporting workshop. I am Sagi, and in the next 20 to 30 minutes I'm going to try and show you how you can combine different reports in OpenLM and how you can get better insights from those reports. So we'll see the license usage report, licenses not in use reports, denials, and utilization. And we'll try and see how we can combine all of them and what insights we can get out of them. Now, if you have an OpenLM system that you can open up, I suggest to open up and run a few reports, because I will be going over the reports and will be going in deep into the reports. So I suggest to try the same with your licenses and see how they fare up. Okay, so let's just jump right in, and let me first show those reports that I want to talk about. Then I will go deeper into those reports and we'll see what we can get out of them. Now, I'm not going to show you all the OpenLM reports. I'm just going to show you the ones that I will be focusing on. So, to paint it in broad strokes, the license usage report, if you can click Start Reports and License Usage, you'll get to this report. Now, what is this report? What does it show us? You probably already know that this report shows us the license quantity line on the top, meaning how many licenses you have from a certain feature, and the quantity in the concurrent usage on the bottom. Now, concurrent usage, that means simultaneous usage, overlapping usage. So like 15 licenses, that means that 15 users pulled 15 licenses, meaning opened the application 15 times. 15 applications were open. Now, from here, we can see that sometimes the licenses actually get maxed out, like they do right here. So when they get maxed out, we can see it in the denials report, and we see how bad the situation is. And now, if we want to get a number of how many licenses we actually need, then we have the license utilization report, and it can show us that we need 55 licenses in this instance. But okay, this is very broad strokes. Let's go deeper. Let's take a look at the license usage report, for example. So we said that on the bottom we can see the usage, concurrent usage, and on the top the license quantity. Now we got three options for your licenses to be in, three states. One is overused, one is underused, and one is a healthy license. So we got right here, it started out, they had 34 licenses, and it was almost always maxed out. You see here it's maxed out, here it's maxed out, here it's maxed out. Now this is a situation where it's mostly maxing out. Now we don't know if that's good or bad yet, but we have that situation here. The second option is underused licenses. So for example, right here, we see that we have 70 licenses, but it doesn't really go over like 27, 23, 13 licenses, like a very low amount of licenses, and you see that it's never maxing out. So there are like 50 licenses wasted right here. And the third state is a healthy state, which is this state. If I scroll into it, this is a healthy state. It's not maxing out all the time. It's kind of hanging around like 90% of it. These will be the three main states that I will be talking about and I will be demonstrating. So what can we do with these states? First of all, if we want to know who is using, we can just simply click on the certain point in time and the license activity report will open, and we'll be able to see all these sessions, who used it, what was the time, when he started, what feature, and so on, and everything regarding regarding this point in time. Now, the license usage report, it has also a heat map. So let me pull up the first state I want to talk about. Now, this state shows you that it's pretty good. You see that it's mainly hanging around the close to the line, but not always maxing out. We see it like maxing out like here in like 3 places. So this is pretty good, but we can't know exactly still how good is it. Like, is it healthy, very healthy, meaning that I almost never get denied and always users have licenses, or maybe I need more licenses, maybe I need less licenses. What can I do? So first of all, you can combine this report, the chart, with the heat map. So clicking here on the heat map tab, we can see the usage along the days and along the hours of the week. So right here we can see the hours on the top, and on the left here we can see the different days. So this way we can see that, for example, during working days, only the working hours it's actually being used. During weekends and outside working hours, it's pretty much all green. A little bit of usage, but it's not maxing out. And you can clearly see the blocks of usage during the working hours. Now, let's say that you don't want the outside working hours because you don't care about that. If it's outside working hours, you don't even care if they get denied. Just want to see within the working hours. So I just came here to the filter, ignore weekends, consider only working hours. And you see that it filters out and shows me exactly what I want to see. Only the working hours. If we go to the chart, we see the chart is now cut up into small chunks of working hours. Now, what happens if I have a license where is not very used, it has very low usage? So let me just pull that up and let's see what it gives us. So right here we can see we have another filter that I've saved that shows 70 licenses, but it doesn't really go over like 15%. If we take a look at the heat map, we see it's barely registering. It's barely getting read. It's always 0, maybe 5, 6. Not very good, even if we consider only the working hours. And it's mainly green. So you see, it's not a healthy license. It's a very underused license. And lastly, we got the high usage, meaning that the utilization is it's through the roof, meaning that it's always being maxed out. It's most of the time it's maxed out right here. If we go to the heat map, you see it's mostly maxed out. So when a user wants to get a license, during working hours, here he will have a really hard time. He will have a really bad time. Now, how can we connect this to something else? We can connect this to the denials report and know exactly how bad the situation is. So if we take a look at this pretty much healthy license that's pretty close to the license quantity, but not a lot of maxing out. So if we take a look at this graph, we see that it's pretty close, but it's maxing out on the 13th, on the 20th, and on the 31st. So if we take the same time span for the same feature, for the same server, and put it in the denials report, then we'll be able to see that only on the 13th and 31st did I have denials, meaning that on this instance, on the 20th, it was maxed out. It went up to 70, but there was no 71 users that tried to pull, so no one got denied. But here we saw that we did get denials. But what did we get? On the 13th, here, we got 7 denials, so that's not a lot. And on the 31st, we got 1 denial. So that's also not a lot. Now you see that this license is healthy. You see it's utilizing itself pretty well. The heat map is pretty much red. The denials, I don't have a lot of denials for that time. But I still don't know how good the license is, how healthy the feature is. So in order to get a more concrete answer, we'll go to license utilization report. Now, for those of you who don't know, to reach the denials report, you go to reports, denials, and to reach the license utilization report, you go to management, license utilization. Now, what does the license utilization show us? A quick overview. The license utilization shows us the amount of time spent on each concurrent usage level. Meaning that for this time right here, the 0 licenses used was like 0% of the time. It was almost never 0. 11 licenses used at the same time was like 11%. 11 licenses was like 2% of the time. 12 licenses was like 4% of the times that was used. So if we show it aggregated, we can better see it for the fact that the aggregation means that if you need to pull 16 licenses, then you must have pulled 15 licenses before that. This is why it's dropping like that. It's encapsulated within each dot. So what does this give us actually? Well, the amount of time spent on each concurrent level can help us set the quality of service line. Quality of service means that, let's say that you're okay with the fact that your users will get the license 95% of the times. 5% of the times they will get denied, but 95% they will get it. So for that quality of service, we see that we only need like 59 licenses. Now, how can we view it? And let's see that it's the same. Yeah, it's the same one. So if you can see here, it shows us it's pretty high during the working hours. Okay, here it's maxing out. Not a lot of denials as we saw, like 7 denials, 1 denial, not a whole lot. And the utilization right here, it says, well, with this utilization, with this graph, with these amount of denials, you'll need only 59 licenses in order to reach a quality of service of 95%. So if I'm okay with like 90%, so users will get the license 90% of the times, then I only need 55 licenses. I have 70 licenses from this feature, but I only need 55. So you see that this license is pretty much healthy. Its quality of service of 90 or 95% is pretty close to the amount that we already have. So for this instance, this license appears to be good, appears to be healthy. We might be able to cut down like 15 to 20% on our spending right here. You see, I only need 60 licenses. I can even buy less if I want. And we can cut spending and get the exact amount of what we need according to this usage report with the denials report, and we can see how bad the situation here is. So in here, the situation is not very bad. You see it's hanging out around the license quantity, not a lot of denials, and the utilization shows us that it's pretty close to the quantity that we have. We see that the curve is good, is going all along the way until 70. Now, let's try to compare with a different status. So let's take the state where it's low usage. So I just selected the low usage filter. I'll select it also here, low usage, and also with the license utilization report. I click here and low usage. Now, let's see how we can combine the reports again to get a better understanding. So first of all, we see, well, we're far, far away from the license quantity for the whole duration, meaning that we have no denials, no results found, no denials. And this is corroborated by this graph. We see it's not being maxed out. We see that it's mostly not used, but we still don't know, okay, so it's not really used, so do I need to buy 20 licenses? Do I need to buy 10 licenses? What, 30? What do I need to buy? Still don't know the number. Because of denials, I don't see any denials. I don't see, I can judge by that. So we go to the license utilization report. And the license utilization report gives us exactly what we were asking for. So we see that it's not even getting to 70 licenses. It's like getting to 16 licenses and 15 or 16 licenses, and that's it for a very short amount of time. So for that case, for this instance, where it goes up right here, it goes up to 16 max, as we can see here, goes up to 16 max, but less than 0.1%. So it says 0 because it rounds it, but it's like less than 0.1%. It was at 16 right here. So it tells us that we need 9 licenses. Even if we, I don't know, take 99%, we only need 12 licenses. So you see that in this instance, it's very, very underutilized. So you're probably asking yourself, well, what about the other case where it's overutilized? We've seen that it's underutilized right here, and we can like not buy 60 licenses next year where we don't have denials and it's pretty far off from the line. Now let's take a look at a high usage scenario. So I clicked on the high usage, selected my filters. And of course, license utilization as well. Okay, so how does it look like? First of all, it's much different. You can see that for a few hours here, it was maxed out. For a few hours here and here and here, like during the working hours, if I click here, you see that it's very, very utilized during the working hours. Even if we take a look at the heat map, you can see that it's very utilized. Now, again, we have this, and we see it's being maxed out. So we go to the denials report, and we can see, whoa, it was maxed out a whole lot. Like on this day, 11, then 6, then 4, then 1, then 5, then 9. Like every day I had like 30 denials, I had 44 denials, I had, 62 denials at a certain hour, at a certain day. That's a lot. But still you can't understand, well, that's a lot. Yeah, but how many licenses do I need then? So then we go to the license utilization report and check out the utilization of it. So we see that the utilization is it's pretty bad. If we have 34 licenses in this case, and we see that we need for 90% we need like 31 licenses. For like 95% it's 33 licenses. It's not a very good fit. Let me show you why. Because if we ignore weekends and consider only the working hours, so our line is not even at 95%. Maybe you put it at 80%. Only at 80% we see that it's in 33. Let's try 90%. So 90%. We see it's 90%, we see it right at the edge, sorry, 90%, it's right around here, you can't really see it anymore. So 34% is your, 34 licenses is your 90% in this case. And if you're okay with that, then no problem, but if not, then you'll need to purchase more licenses. And you see that the curve of it indicates that it's very used. This license is used heavily. Like one license used was most of the time, and we see that, let's show the aggregation. It was mostly on this spectrum, on this end, like 31, 32, 33, 34 licenses mostly. It almost never got to the point where it was like 2 licenses, only 4 licenses. It only starts for like 11 licenses. So this way you can tell that, okay, you have a problem here. You have, you're maxing out your licenses. Let's show it as a heat map and show only the working hours. You're maxing out your licenses a lot. You get a lot of denials each day. And the license utilization is not very good. You are maxing it out on 90%. And the curve itself, you see that it's not a healthy curve. If we make it unaggregated, we see again that it's not a healthy curve. All the licenses are pretty much right around here. So most of the time people have issues. Now again, let's try to compare the same, but with the low usage. Just to jump on it and go over it again. So the low usage looks like this. Let's show only the working hours for low usage this time. Low usage, denials, we saw that we have no denials. License utilization, let's see the difference between the high and low. So this was the high usage, and now let's go to the low usage. You see, everything is right around here. 90% is like 7. So this is, as you see, not a very good utilization. And of course that the most healthy way for it to be is to look like this, where it's pretty much spread out across all the license quantity. If we show it aggregated, it kind of looks like this, where nearing the end it's starting really to to flatten out here, to bottom out, and we're not very far from our license quantity. So this is good utilization, and let's consider only the working hours and see that it's even better utilization, where within the working hours we are still 90%, we're still at 62 licenses. We're still okay, and the curve looks pretty much good. And the last thing that I want to show you is the licenses not in use report. So we go to Start, Management, Licenses not in use. Let me pull up the demo here. So this report, it can complete this report, because here you can know how many licenses you need from a certain feature. Now this will tell you which licenses you don't need, which features you don't need. So for example, I see that Navisworks, this feature, I've not been using Navisworks at all. So if I have not been using Navisworks, then next time I can simply not buy it. I can not purchase it. I'll purchase a smaller package. I'll purchase maybe the feature, only the feature that I want. I won't purchase the package at all. And then I'll be able to know that this feature is not used, or if it's partially used, then I can see it in the utilization right here and get all these three reports together to show me what's the license status. Do I need more licenses? How many licenses do I need? And so on. So that's about it for me. I've shown you today the three main reports that really show the benefits of OpenLM and really show you how you can get more insight on your license usage. Now, what I would like to do is I would like you to ask anything that you'd like regarding the reports of OpenLM, regarding what you've seen up until now in this workshop. So you can either use your microphone, or you can use the chat box, the question box of the GoToMeeting tool. So thank you very much, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this this workshop. I really hope you went deep with me and understood everything. But if not, you can ask now, or you can send us an email to support@openlm.com, or call us on chat, whatever you choose. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. If you have a question, just write it down in the question box.